Happy Thanksgiving, Dippers, and welcome back to Volume 26 of Humpday's Hysteria. I'm joined by our co-host, St. Louis correspondent, Fletcher Hoyk.
You know how when you're sitting there with a friend and you got your pet there, and you call your pet and your friend calls your pet, and then your pet goes to your friend?
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck? You're my pet. You're my day one.
Yeah.
That's probably how Draymond Green feels about him being fined and sat out one game for his altercation with KD.
That's pretty good analogy right there.
Second round draft pick, been there forever. Guy comes around 3 years, they love him. Okay.
It's a pretty good analogy. For more good analogies, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at TheSaucyPod. Listen to us on iTunes and Spotify. Listen to Sauce on the Side every Monday, Knuckle Sandwich every Thursday, Fantasy 15, the DFS podcast every Friday, and Food for Thought on most Saturdays. But as we all know, it's time to give thanks. So, what are you thankful for this Thanksgiving?
I am thankful that the Pacers are 11-6.
I'm going to cut that anyway.
I'm thankful that the Cleveland Browns have won a few games this year.
Yep.
I'm not thankful that we are considering hiring Condoleezza Rice as our new football coach.
Bold move.
It's a dumb move.
All right. Now, without further ado, stop this noise.
Humpday. Who's Hysteria?
A Sauce on the Side production.
And on today's show, Markel Fultz realizes, oh shit, I suck. Everybody appears to be out in Washington, except for the one person who needs to go the most. People are scoring a shit ton of points right now, and the Thunder are rolling without their lightning. And as always, we have Fletcher on the fly. So start with the first headline, Markel Fultz. Everybody knows he had that shoulder injury that caused him to miss basically all of last season. Can't shoot. Came out today that he had a wrist injury that's also affecting his shooting ability, and that he now wants to start over with a new team. He's actually not practicing at all until he sees a specialist, as told to do that by his lawyer. Last week he fired his trainer, and they're not on speaking terms. Fletcher, Markel Fultz, just everything. What do you think about this? Does he suck? Any chance he's ever good?
Well, I said last week he had that like horrible hitch in his free throw, and everybody was like, what the fuck was that? And then he comes out and says, the ball slipped out of my hands, I had to catch it so I could grab the ball and shoot it and, have some chance at making it. And that might be an okay excuse, but it was bullshit when he fired his trainer. And then the very next time you saw him shooting a free throw, he looked like a pizza guy tossing the fucking dough on each hand before
what
he shot
the hell was that?
I don't know. But it looked like he was tossing dough on his hand, then he shot a free throw, and now somehow he's hurt. I don't think there's anything wrong with him, and I hate to say that, but it's like he had a lot of issues last year. We know that happened, and I don't think injury is what's occurring right now.
I think it's all his mental in his head. Because he has to have low confidence. Right? I know he had any confidence at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder what happened with the falling out between him and Drew Hanlon, his trainer. I wonder what happened there. I don't think there's an injury at play. All you're hearing is how good he was to start the season and how good of a spot he was in and how much work he was able to put in the summer. If you haven't seen anything happen on the court where you're like, oh, wow, that must have really affected him. And then he played so much and worked out so much in the summer. Nothing was happening then. I just don't. There must be something going on deep in that team with the coaches that are like, he must have that feeling that the coaches are looking over his shoulder every move and he can't actually play. I don't know what reason you could have for wanting to like switch teams entirely right now because you're on a pretty well-set team now that you have Jimmy Butler, and it's just a weird situation that he's having his lawyer speak on his behalf. Like, why do you even have a lawyer? Do you plan on getting sued or suing somebody? I understand your agent making claims for you, but a lawyer now too? Yeah. It seems like he has too many people in his ear at this point, and it's just a weird situation.
Yeah, think back on the team now. Think back to what was the 2016 draft, taking number 1, 2015, 2016. They traded up from number 2 or 3 to get him. And then before that even started, Joel Embiid posted a picture of himself, Markel Fultz, and Ben Simmons with the hashtag process is over. Well, so that was the end of the process. People wanted to say it was got Jimmy Butler last week, but to Joel Embiid, that was the end of the process.
Yeah.
Let's say that this 76er deal just doesn't work out. Do you think that they look back at that 2016 draft and say, we really messed up there and that's why we can't win a championship?
Yeah, but they could say that about a few drafts. They've whipped on a few players. I think they hit on Dario Saric better than they hit on Markel Fultz, obviously, and they went and dealt Saric. Obviously, you would do that for Jimmy Butler, but yeah, I mean, they could have had Donovan Mitchell. They could have had Jason Tatum. They could have had a lot of different dudes, and they wind up with one of the few guys out of those early picks in that draft. I mean, they could have had De'Aaron Fox, Lonzo Ball. They could have had a lot of dudes early in that draft who can actually play and are really contributing. I mean, Lonzo Ball or De'Aaron Fox is having a monster sophomore year. You're just not seeing that out of Markelle Fultz compared to any of those other rookies at all. And so you got to think, wow, we really whiffed on that draft. And if we had a guy who could play like Mitchell or Tatum, and then we had Jimmy Butler as well, that could be really pivotal for us as far as building a championship roster.
Yeah, this is way more drama, but it's about this team than you thought they were going to be going into the season for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Another team, much more drama than you thought was going to be happening, are Washington Wizards. Washington Wizards off to an absolutely, terrible, abysmal start. And it came out last week that they were going to trade every player on the team, including John Wall and Bradley Beal. Days after that, during a practice, there was very heated arguments between players. John Wall said, "Fuck you" to Scott Brooks. He apologized minutes after, but if you have one "fuck you" in you to your coach, to your boss, or whoever, there's no telling what you have in you. An interview after that practice, Bradley Beal said that he'd been dealing with that kind of stuff for 7 seasons. And last night, it's been reported that the Charlotte Hornets and the Wizards are working on a trade for Bradley Beal that involves Marlon Williams, Nicholas Batum, and draft picks. So, Fletcher, what are your thoughts here on the Wizards as a team right now?
Well, I said this when we were talking about the Celtics a couple weeks ago. I told you it was a little bit of too much my turn than your turn going stuff on offense. And you really see that to the 10th. You had a guy, an unnamed player from the Wizards, come out and say, playing with a guy like John Wall, it's just too hard to do. And I talked about it before. He's a guy who gets those NBA my player assist where you just dribble, you're trying to score, you get nothing. And then so a last-second attempt to try to get an assist to raise your teammate grades, you pass it to somebody. You see John Wall do a lot of that. He dominates the ball. You got guys on the team who are really looking for their own stuff versus the team success. The only guy that I really consider that I would want, I would take, out of all the guys I would want on that roster, I would take Bradley Beal, Otto Porter Jr., and then Kelly Oubre, all before I would want John Wall. With that being said, though, the GM coming out and saying everyone's on the table, everybody can be dealt, I said a couple weeks ago that if you're the GM for the Wizards, you got to say, are we closer to winning a title with this group of players and this core we got now, or are we closer to being in the lottery? And right now they're in the lottery, and at least they have the awareness to know what to do as far as building a future direction. But the thing is, if you're looking to trade guys for picks, the last thing you want to say is, "Oh, we're looking to trade guys. Anybody, you can have anybody you want." Because that lets every team know, hey, you're looking to deal, and it takes away your leverage in the position because they know you're just wanting to give them away, or not give them away, but trade them away for assets. Out of all those guys, like I said, I would want Bradley Beal the most. He would be great for playing alongside LeBron, a guy who shoots 40% from the three and averages, 23, 22 points a game, whatever it is he's getting. There are a number of teams out there that I think could really benefit from acquiring actually some of those players from the Timberwolves. Think about this. Let's back it up with the T-Wolves a little bit. The T-Wolves basically traded. Well, first off, they traded Chris Dunn, Zach LaVine, and the pick that turned into Lauri Markkanen for Jimmy Butler. They had that go through, and then a year later now they traded Jimmy Butler for Dario Saric and Robert Covington. What they essentially did was traded Chris Dunn, Zach LaVine, and that pick for Lauri Markkanen now for Dario Saric and Robert Covington. So they really shit the bed there. But if they had taken that trade from Houston that included 4 first-round picks and Eric Gordon, think if they had those 4 first-round picks now and can go after Bradley Beal, John Wall, Otto Porter Jr., Kelly Oubre. If they had those picks, they could go legitimately go after those guys, have Eric Gordon on the bench, have a star point guard, or you could just keep your point guard that you have now, whether it be Teague or Rose, but you could have Brad Beal along with Wiggins, bring in Eric Gordon off the bench. This is just the biggest losers out of this whole thing in my eyes are the Timberwolves. They really shit the bed. They could have had a great package to put together for John Wall and Bradley Beal and the rest of the players out there. I think the Pelicans should make a big run after some of those guys. If you want 80 to stay with you in a year or two, you got to have stars. You got to have Brad Beals. You got to have guys to put around them. I don't expect a trade to happen before December 15th. A lot of the free agent signings and stuff that happens now, players like that aren't able to be dealt until after the 15th. So they're broadcasting about a month early to see all the offers, that mull all the offers they can get, maybe create some bidding wars, but you're not going to see anything happen for at least a month, I don't think.
So, ultimately, do you think Bill will be traded or Wall will be traded? Any of it all?
If I'm that GM, I'm going to do everything in my power to trade both of them because you're not winning shit this year. That place has been a dumpster fire beyond anything I could have imagined. I thought Austin Rivers was going to be a 6 Man of the Year candidate and shit. I mean, he might as well be starting by mid-February if I was running that team because you would have no other guards there, or you would be dealing Brad Beal and John Wall for picks, in my opinion. I think they're both going to be gone. The player that's more likely to be gone, though, is Brad Beal because he fits this NBA and he can actually play with guys and he's stable. He's not emotionally unstable. He's not telling anybody to go fuck themselves or anything like that. So,
all right. And so, we talked about the team already, but if let's say they do trade him or not trade him at all, like how can this team go forward with Scott Brooks after John told him to fuck you? Like how can he think he has any kind of control over his locker room?
Yeah, he's not going to think he has any kind of control or influence over the players. If John Wall gets traded, he has a better chance. After John Wall gets traded, if a player acts out or something, he can make an example out of them. Scott Brooks, though, is a good coach. Scott Brooks got the most out of Durant and Westbrook more than anybody. And when he first came to Washington before Boston kind of surged up and LeBron went back to Cleveland and then Toronto before they came good, he had a legitimate thing going with the Wizards there for a season or two, and they've obviously fallen off for a bunch of different reasons. But I think they should keep Scott Brooks as the coach there. He is definitely he's definitely talented. He can make guys work. It's just this situation is too toxic for anybody to cleanse at this point.
One more note before we move on. John Wall, great talent, but he said he just has kind of my player assist.
Yeah.
Do you think he went somewhere they have to be like the guy? He could just be that like really great game manager of a point guard and play off somebody else. Like if KD happened to go to Washington next year and kind of turn things around.
He's going to have to play. Scott Brooks is a really good coach, but for John Wall, to get the most out of John Wall, you're going to have to put him or surround him in an environment that's really team-based, really set on winning. You're going to have, and coupled with a really good coach too, you're going to have something close to what the Spurs have emulated to have that happen. Maybe Phoenix is really, really lacking for a point guard, and they're wanting to start winning, sooner rather than later. They might make a move for him. I'm not so sure that's the best thing for those young guys, but you have to put him in a situation where the team environment is strong and the head coach is strong for him to kind of turn things around, I think.
All right, and now we're going to our next topic, which is teams. Let's go with a ton of points right now. Mm-hmm. Right now in the NBA, 16 teams are averaging 110 points a game or more. At this time, this exact day last year, only 5 teams averaging 110 points per game. Do you think it's good for the game?
Did you have fun watching the Chiefs and Rams on Monday?
Could not have more fun.
Yeah, that was a good time. Did you have fun when you watched Alabama and LSU play 6-3 in that SEC championship game or whatever?
I had much less fun doing that.
See, I don't have a problem with this more scoring thing. I mean, I've said this before, people say they like defense. They like watching good defense, but people only like good defense when they're talking about their particular teams that they root for. Other than that, no one wants to sit there and watch a 14-13 NFL game. No one wants to watch a 1-0 baseball game. No one wants to watch a 53-60 college basketball game. People want pace. People want scoring. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
And do you think that the reason for the points is this higher pace of play? Like we've seen it in past years, teams going to that 4-out, 1 in, bringing 5 out even. Do you think teams are basically getting enough guide now that that's almost like a perfected method of basketball for a lot of teams? Yeah,
I mean, the pace and the space is definitely leading to more points, but I mean, that's a huge portion of it. That's probably 75% of it. But the thing is, if the guys in the 90s were doing this kind of stuff, or even the 80s or the 60s, like they would not be scoring points at this kind of clip just because they didn't have the guys. They didn't have centers who could go out and shoot the three, but then still go down low and bang. You look at what happened, what this narrative that started to build in the early to mid 2000s. People said, "Oh, look at Tracy McGrady. When have you ever seen a guy like that? He's so tall, he can shoot over the top of you, but if you crowd him, he can go around you." Now, that turned into LeBron. It's like, oh, when have you ever seen a guy like LeBron? And then it's, oh, when have you seen a guy like Kevin Durant? When have you ever seen a guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo? When have you ever seen a guy like Ben Simmons? You're hearing this whole, when did you see a guy built like this do things like this? You're hearing it a lot more often now than you used to. So I think that's also a part of it. You're having players who are just flat out better than they were 20, 30 years ago. you're looking at a guy in LeBron who is built like Karl Malone but jumps around like he's I don't know, David Thompson or Michael Jordan. You just don't see this level of and caliber of athlete anymore. Kristaps Porzingis, 7'3" or 4", steps out 30 feet, drills threes, goes down low, impacts the game all over the place. You're just seeing a level and class of athlete mixed with the skill of basketball that's never been seen before. And I think that's those two reasons alone. I think they make up damn near 100% of it. You look at the pace, you look at the space, but then you look at the skill and ability of those athletes together. That's 25 and 75% right there. You'd think of why you're seeing this scoring output in the NBA right now.
Yeah, I think you said that. I think players today are just flat out better, and the 10th guy on the bench is just as good as probably the 7th or 6th guy back in the 80s or 70s. Mm-hmm. They can all ball.
Yeah, well, the one thing I just can't get over, it's like, and you're seeing it now even in college, too. It's like, when have you ever seen a guy like Zion Williamson? You're hearing this whole phrase, when have you seen a guy like so-and-so or this, way more often than you ever thought of. I mean, I guess in the 80s you said it once with Magic Johnson, and then the next thing you know, it's like T-Mac, LeBron, Kobe maybe, MJ maybe, but now it's Giannis Antetokounmpo, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, Kevin Durant, all these guys, even Steph Curry. I mean, a guy who's that small dominating the NBA, it's like, when have you seen guys like this before? And it's...
Yeah, it's like, and there are going to be more guys, there are going to be more Zion Williamsons. Might be a while, but there's going to be more guys like Zion Williamson, more guys like Steph, KD, all those guys.
Yeah.
So now it's time for Fletcher on the Fly. This is where I ask Fletcher 3 questions, and he has to answer them on the fly. This past week, Kemba Walker, actually the whole season, he's been on absolute fire.
Yep.
But this past week, he scored 60 points in the game, and the team lost. Now, in history, that's been 18 times, but like 11 of those were Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah.
So, Fletcher, since the year 2000, how many times has a player scored 60 points or more and lost the game?
How many times?
Yes.
Since when?
2000.
I'm going to say...
It's not a lot.
I'm going to say twice, and I'm going to say at least one was done by Kobe.
Well, you're right with twice, but...
One was not done by Kobe?
One was Kemba Walker. And
well, give me
Devin
one.
Booker last year.
Oh, Devin Booker dropped 70.
But,
Well, I didn't think we were counting Kemba's time, but whatever.
and now another guy who kind of, made history this past week, Devin Mitchell. Shot 35 field goal attempts. And under 35 minutes, had 0 assists.
Getting that work in.
Team player. Fletcher, in the history of basketball, you can give me a range on this one. How many times do you think a player has shot 35 shots with no assists in fewer than 35 minutes?
Ever in the NBA?
In the history of the NBA. Can you give me a range of numbers even? You know it's at least once.
7 to 12.
9. So good job.
Wow.
Yep. Kareem did it twice. Kobe on his last game. Wilt.
Kobe! I knew Wilt was going to be on there a bunch. Why would you pass if you were him?
Wilt only did it once. I mean, he did more time with a whole game, but for under 35 minutes.
Oh,
did it
yeah.
one time. Some guy named Liddell Eccles did it.
We all know what happened to his career.
Tom Hizon.
Tommy Heinsohn. You remember him? Oh my God.
Celtics back in the 80s.
Yeah, no, 60s.
60s. Whoa, shit, that's right back there. Aaron James, Donovan Mitchell, and Dominic Wilkins.
Dominique.
And now for our last question. This was a debate that me and our co-host off to the side, Jake, had last season over where would you rank Donovan Mitchell and 10 players in the NBA? He had him in the top 20. I have not better than Kemba Walker. So Fletcher, who is better? Oh, no, who's better? Who would you rather have right now, Kemba Walker or Donovan Mitchell?
I'd rather have Kemba right now. I was just thinking of ways where the Pacers could try to trade for Kemba this year, but I think the asking price, they wouldn't trade him, but the asking price would be so high. You're like, no, don't even. It's like when Julio dropped like 33 or 5 or something last year for you, and somebody tried trading for him in our league, and they were like, yeah, I'll take Julio too. And it's like, yeah, I bet you would take him.
I bet you would, man.
Yeah, and so I don't think we can get Kemba right now, but I would rather have Kemba right now. But if you asked me that a year ago, I probably would have said Donovan Mitchell. But
where would you rank Kemba in terms of point guards in the NBA?
Oh my God, it's so early in this year. Like I don't want to hold guys' numbers against them this early in the year just because. But man, you remember that trade I talked about? That 3-team trade with the Hornets and the Clippers last year for the Cavs, where they had like DeAndre Jordan and Batum and Kemba Walker coming to the Cavaliers.
When did they ever have done to Jordan?
The Clippers.
Oh, the Clippers.
It was a 3-team trade. It had the
I thought you
Clippers, the
meant Hornets
Cavs.
for some reason.
No,
Yeah.
and then the
Yeah.
Hornets were included though. I really like that trade because of Kimba. I thought Kimba was a guy who could handle the ball and score on his own and give LeBron kind of a rest where he doesn't have to do everything for that team the whole time. This year, Kimba Walker's got to be top 10 easy. I don't know about top 5, but he's got to be top 10 easy this year for point guards in the NBA, and I would love to have him on my team.
You come pride, baby.
Oh.
And now we're going to, Fletcher, something that you have been very advocated about. Oklahoma City Thunder. They've won 10 of the last 12 games, even though they haven't had Westbrook for the past 7 games.
Uh-huh.
Over the past 7 games, Paul George has averaged 26 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. You, like I said, have been a long advocate to Russell Westbrook, a guy who you not want on your team because he plays like John Wall, but like Super John Wall, where he's always had the ball all the time. When he comes back, do you think he'll be able to adjust and play with Paul George, or do you think it's going to be business as usual for Russell Westbrook?
It's crazy. You take the guy out of your lineup who's a ball hog, who doesn't shoot very efficiently and leads the league in turnovers, and you start winning, even though he averages the triple-double, you know? When he comes back, there's no reason that I would think he'd be able to adjust with Paul George, what he's doing, and keep this winning streak going. Russell Westbrook's 10 years into the NBA. He's going to be turning 30, or he is 30 now. I can't remember which, and the dude's had 2 or 3, maybe even 4 issues with his right knee now. He's on the back nine. He's going to be starting on the back nine of his career. If he has not changed yet, like he just hired a shooting coach this offseason. This dude, he has not changed yet. Why would I think he's going to change year 10? It's like the New York Knicks, they had a few good defenders and they had some guards and they had like the 2 or the 3 seed in the East one year. And Melo came back from an injury. They said, do you think Melo's going to buy into defense? It's like, dude, why would Melo buy into anything that he doesn't already do? He's been in the league for 8-9 years. He is what he is. No, Russell Westbrook's not going to change, and when he comes back in, their record's going to go back and dip. I've seen Paul George play on teams that are really strong defensively where he leads them offensively into the playoffs, into close to the top 4 seeds with the Indiana Pacers. I saw him do it. He's playing with Dennis Schroeder, who is, sure, might not be the talent that Westbrook is, but he shoots efficiently. He doesn't turn the ball over. He's opportunistic, which is what you should be on offense. He doesn't force things, plays well with others. It's not crazy to me that they're playing well right now because of how strong they are defensively, and it's allowing Paul George to do what he does best and lead a team on offense. When Russell comes back, it's not going to continue this way. They're not going to continue to be a top team in the West, and he no one's going to say it, but a part of his play will drag this team down. Who was it? I think it was Rondo who said, when your point guard continues to shoot and doesn't get others involved, the first part you give up on is defense. So Westbrook is a dude who is going to pound the rock, shoot the rock, turn the rock over. It's going to affect guys on both ends of the court.
Yep. I agree with that 100%. But you can't trade Westbrook. He's making $30 million a year. Like, he's the face of the franchise, has a max contract. We get out of him. Let's see if that's contract. This shows a downfall of that and why I think there'll be a few of those in the future.
Yeah.
Westbrook in 2020, 2022, 2023 season, 33 years old. Is everybody be making that season?
34, 30.
$47 million.
Oh my God.
Before that, 44. Before that, 41. Before that, 38. This year, 35.
That reminds me of the that A-Rod contract that the Yankees gave him. It's like he's a big star and he puts up big numbers and you like it right now, but towards the end, it's really going to bite you in the ass. I think they should trade him. Belichick and Jerry Sloan back with the Jazz, Belichick still does it, but Jerry Sloan was big on this when he was with the Jazz. You trade a guy before it's too early, before it's too late. And just between you and me and everybody listening on the show right now, that's what I did with Jordan Howard with Rocket. I traded him a year too early before it was a year too late, which is why I got that pick out of him. But that's what the Thunder really need to evaluate and look at, because when Russell comes back, things are going to change and things are not going to click on offense. I saw it all last year. I saw it with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's better than Paul George, and I saw it happen with Kevin Durant. So and Westbrook's just getting older. There's no reason for me to think things will change.
Before we move on to the next segment, just for the podcast, hypothetical thing. John Wall for Westbrook, make the money work. Do you think either team says no to that?
I don't know why either team would say yes. I mean, Oklahoma City thinks that they have a star in Russell Westbrook, who is probably people in Oklahoma City probably view him on the same plateau or platform as LeBron James or somebody like that. And then Washington, they're looking to rebuild. They obviously realize what they have in their core right now is not going to win. So just swapping star for star, I don't know what you're looking for there, unless you were swapping big for little to make something match up. Like if the Celtics swapped Terry Rozier for a quality wing or big man player, I would get that because they had Kyrie Irving. But just swapping star for star doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I might do just because, chemistry on both teams. Both get a point guard. You talk about John Walker back to the Paul George.
Yeah.
Could be real cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. But now move on to the best team right now. This is where we tell you the best team in conference and the overall NBA.
Yep.
Eastern Conference, Raptors, Pacers, Bucks, 76ers all look like legitimate contenders out of Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
Behind them, you get the Celtics, but they're a long way back right now. It's a long season. Right now, I'm going to go with the Raptors as being the best team in the Eastern Conference. I had the Bucks last week, but the Bucks, lost some games. The Raptors have shown that consistency week in, week out.
Mm-hmm.
I think the best team in the Eastern Conference right now.
Yeah, the Raptors, like I said before, they got that big-time depth, which is huge. I mean, they can legitimately play 12 dudes and not miss a beat. And then they have superstar in the highest degree in Kawhi Leonard. You got Kyrie Irving, Kyle Lowry, who's having a career year. You got the new coach who's given more freedom on offense. They can mix and match so many lineups. And they got shooting to spread the court, too, with Danny Green and a bunch of other guys now. I really like the collection that they had. This is why I didn't think this would happen, but I said before the season, I'm not going to bet that Celtics win total now, which I thought was a lock. I'm not going to bet it now just because of how good this Raptors team is. And the Celtics are having their own struggles anyway, but you're seeing the faith I had in the Raptors and why I did. The Pacers, they're good. They got a lot of depth too. Not like the Raptors, but the other night when we beat the Jazz soundly, we played 9 guys over 20 minutes, and so that's really impressive. That keeps guys fresh when you can do that. The Bucks, they've hit a little skid themselves, but they've got so much length. They've got Giannis Antetokounmpo. They've got the shooting and the big guys to spread things out. They got Budenholzer. They've got Eric Bledsoe buying in on offense and defense. And the 76ers, even if they start righting the ship, I'm still going to be upset with them because every time I look out there and see T.J. McConnell and Ben Simmons on the court together, I think that could be Michael Bridges. Or you could have Michael and Jimmy Butler on the court together. It's very annoying for me to watch that. But the 76ers are playing well. As long as Embiid stays healthy, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And the Celtics, I'm not writing them off by any means. I think once they play more and figure things out together with all these guys and the minutes restrictions kind of leave, you're going to see things click. Again, I said this, the Lakers are going to be 20, 30 games in. That's kind of what I'm looking at right now with the Celtics.
So, who's the team in the East?
Oh, Raptors. Raptors by far, yeah.
Western Conference, the Warriors are struggling in a big way. Talked about it last week. You opened the show by saying Draymond Green hates everybody right now. He feels, kind of not ostracized, opposite of that.
Yeah.
Trailblazers are in first place in the Western Conference, and the Grizzlies have slowed the game down. Are now second spot in Western Conference. This is like a cop-out, but with how bad Warriors are struggling, I gotta go to Trailblazers, especially in the Western Conference right now. So they're in first place. They've won, I think, 9 out of the past 10 games, 8 out of the past 10 games. I think right now, Trailblazers, with how McCollum's playing, how Lillard's playing at MVP level, I think they're the best team in the Western Conference.
Yeah. Best team in the West. I'm going to start with the Warriors before I talk about anything in the Western Conference. But with the Warriors, you say they're struggling in a bad way. They've lost 4 or 5, but they're still third place in the West. I already talked about the whole day one thing with Draymond and KD, how it seems like you're siding with the shiny new toy over a dude that's been there from the ground up. Draymond Green strikes me as one of those guys, like we all have that friend, we all know that person that's just really good at pissing guys off and saying and doing things to get under their skin. And I feel like that's just kind of the skill set that Draymond Green has, and I feel like that really kind of bit him in the ass with this Kevin Durant thing. What's interesting, though, with the Warriors, with Steph and Klay Thompson, you never hear about issues like this with them. And even now, it's like they're saying so. When they get interviewed about this, they're saying the right thing. That it's not even a soundbite. No one even plays it on you don't see it on Instagram or SportsCenter or anything. And the thing is, I think that Steph and Klay grew up in NBA locker rooms. Klay with Del Curry, and then Klay Thompson with his dad, Michael Thompson. I think they just got used to that locker room friction, and I think they got used to how pros act and carry themselves. I think that's what you're kind of seeing with those two. I think that's really interesting to think about. I'm still going with the Warriors as the best team. Once they get Steph Curry back, he's going to massage a lot of these issues for him. Draymond and Kevin Durant in another game or two, people aren't going to be talking about this. I think it's going to get kind of washed over. It's obviously not going to be washed over in Kevin Durant's mind. He is going to remember this until the day he dies, and this is probably going to be the biggest reason for why he leaves the Warriors. The Trailblazers are playing great. I think they're just riding a hot streak. I don't think it's going to last. You look at Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. You really have two guys who are playing the same position, doing the same thing. I'm not saying they should trade one of those guys and get a different piece to mix in there, but I just don't see two shooting guards essentially going out there and dropping 65 points together and somehow the team playing together as a whole and winning a whole lot of basketball games. They had the 3 seed last year, and they do have some talent, don't get me wrong, but best team in the West, I don't think so. Grizzlies, this is a perfect example of having a small sample size and creating an outlier. It's just not going to last like that. One team that I am big on in the West right now is the Lakers. Every game they're getting closer and closer to figure out how to play together. They're getting pieces clicking. Their defense is getting better since they've added Tyson Chandler. Guys are learning how to rotate and help together. Guys are starting to shoot better on offense. KCP finally starting to piece things together for this season. I'm really excited to see how things go with the Lakers for the next 10 to 15 games. But the Warriors right now are still the best team for me in the West.
Okay, with the NBA, I gotta go with the Raptors. Basically because over the past first 3 weeks, 4 weeks of the season, they've looked more consistent and the best team overall. So I'm going to go back to the best team in the NBA today.
Yep.
You agree?
Yeah, I think the Raptors can beat anybody in the NBA right now, no problem. Well, not no problem.
No problem. Walking through the teams here.
They would. I think they're definitely the best team in the NBA right now. And if you said tomorrow that the Raptors were playing the Trailblazers or the Bucks or the Warriors, I think they would be favored. I think Vegas would have them favored in every spread. So I'm going to agree with you. I think the Raptors are definitely the best team in the NBA right now.
All right, now we're on to the game of the week. First time looking at a game looking forward to this week. My game is Friday night. Trailblazers at Warriors. Trailblazers best team in the West right conference right now. Hopefully they can show it this Friday. Butcher?
It's not even a game. It's just tonight, Wednesday. You got Duke playing Gonzaga. That was a great game to watch. I watched that one while I was at work. And then you got LeBron and the Cavaliers playing right now. I'm going to watch that as soon as this show's over. And then tonight, right before Thanksgiving, while everybody's drinking together with their friends and family, you got Oklahoma City and Golden State. So this is like the perfect night for basketball. And it's followed up by a great day of football. So tonight is my night for Game of the Week.
All right, Dippers. And that has been Volume 26 of Hysteria. As always, on Twitter, Instagram at the Saucy Pod. And as always, stay saucy.
Stay saucy.